hear and you speak that you know that you are eternal beings. There is this goal-setting mechanism that many of you have been on for so long that says, here I am, but there I will be. And then there's this built-in discomfort till I get there. Some underlying discomfort about not quite being there. And we want you to want to go there so that you stay pointed in the right direction, but we are all forward moving, forward looking, forward reaching. That's what eternity is.
I'm returning to the place of my birth. I'm returning to the belly of the earth. Back from the future to heal my hurt. As I look within, I begin my search. Yeah, I took a dose and I found my hope. The medicine is better when it helps me cope. I took a dose and I found my hope, because the medicine is better when it helps me cope. Yeah, who am I? I am you. Back to the essence, remain true. Bask in the presence, chosen few. And out of sight for the truth with my mind renewed. You never find what I'm seeking in school or church. Religion is deceiving, but I started there first. Doctrines of demons and the pain got worse. Find the ancient path to reverse the curse, and I return. I return. I return. I return.
I return to the fire, which is higher, from which we burn. I return to that fire, which is higher, from which we burn. I return to that fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return.
Feeling so feeling when I'm barefoot earthing, searching as a child I'm learning, receiving revelation that my spirit is bursting. My past and present is at one merging. Through love and understanding, we find our minds expanding. With the use of the drum and joyous dance, and return to your birth through sacred chanting. Home.
I return to the fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return. I return to the fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return. I return to the fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return. I return to the fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return.
I return fearless, no longer faceless in the matrix, soulless and saintless. Instead, I return to regain this integrity that takes us beyond limitations and graceless ways of being amidst the chaos, and return to the painless inner sanctum of the nameless. I return from ancient portals, from beyond being mortal, and arrive ready to heal, ready to thrive, resurrected after a society too contrived and worlds of media that lie. I reincarnate with rhythms on high, and I arrive at the beat that reminds us of where we come from and why. I return fearless of this bliss. Now I don't resist, don't raise a fist, just drop into the deep abyss in this time and space, ready to take my place. It's amongst the sun, amongst the one, the design that reminds us of where we come from and where we will return.
I return. I
return to the fire, which is higher, from which we burn. I return to that fire, which is higher, from which we burn. I return to that fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return.
I return to the fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return. I return to the fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return. I return to the fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return. I return to the fire, which is higher, and from which we burn. I return
to the oneness we all share. Peace in our hearts, rise everywhere. Regardless of where we come from, we dream under the same moon, born under the same sun. A return to the oneness we all share. Peace in our hearts, rise everywhere. Regardless of where we come from, we dream under the same moon, born under the same sun.
In time, with a little bit of practice, all of you will reach this place where you'll get so hooked on this feeling of alignment that you're just not willing to move outside of it no matter what. No matter how good the statistics look, no matter how good the spiel that's offered, no matter what the outside circumstances are, you'll just get to the point where you'll say, wait a minute, I have this guidance system that's been calculating my path, and so we like what we feel from you as you say, I'm loving this journey, and I'm loving the way it is unfolding for me. And I know that I'm always in the right place, and I know that it's an evolving place. And now life is always good. And then, isn't it fun to watch things begin to unfold and say, oh yes, that feels just right. Oh yes, that feels just right. Oh yes, I've been looking for you. I've been expecting you. I've been anticipating you. I knew you were coming. I could feel you on my doorstep. I knew you were coming. Here you are, and you're as beautiful as I thought you would be. About all things. Yes.
And good morning, it is. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. And I'm Debbie G. And it's time for a cup of grata. That's a cup of gratitude with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. And today I have an extraordinary co-squirt. She's one of my favorite people. And I was so blessed to get to meet her in person up in Northern California. And she's here today, and we're going to be celebrating her birthday. Her name is Katrina Vaillencort, you guys. She's the creator, get this, of Love Smart cards. Now, this is seriously incredible. Love Smart cards, and when you guys get your hands on these, you're going to see why. They're life-changing. I mean, I personally love compassionate communication, nonviolent communication, and I've practiced these tools too. But when I saw these cards, I was like, oh, heck yes. This actually gives us a tangible way to practice communication. It's brilliant. But before I bring her up, I just want to share my screen one more time. And if anybody who's on here right now can join me, good morning, good morning. Hey, Kelly, what's up? Let's just give some hearts as we share a moment of happy birthday. Good morning.
Good morning, Debbie. What a wonderful welcome. Thank you.
You are so welcome. It's such a joy to have you here. One of the things I failed to mention about that you're here, thank you for the hearts, everybody, was that you are also, we have a big, huge surprise, and that is that you're going to be you are the newest host for Spirituality Gone Wild as well. So I'm excited, but we're going to start in this journey. First off, I'm just going to say happy birthday, but then ask you what today, if you had to pick a couple of things of a couple of people you're grateful for, and a couple of things, what would be your birthday gratitude moments today?
Birthday gratitude. I feel so blessed for the family and the community that I have. I feel so blessed that I came upon these tools, that the Love Smart cards were designed, from that inspiration. Because these tools have given me access to being able to make the most of every relationship in my life. So my heart is filled to overflowing with gratitude for the community I have. And the other gratitude, really the song that you played, I love the songs you find. It was a great one. And so the other piece of gratitude, I really want to acknowledge source, spirit, higher power, God, goddess, whatever that energy is. Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, the founder of Nonviolent Communication, likes to call it beloved divine energy, that which is our guidance system, that which carries us through the challenging times and says, hey, you're okay, and just drops those little bits of magic in our lives to say you're on the right path. Trust in yourself, trust in life, trust in humanity. Things will be well. And I've found that the combination of feeling my own connection to that energy and then the really practical tools that Dr. Marshall Rosenberg and Carl Rogers and many other of the great thinkers and spiritual masters have brought in have been able to really help me to access that for myself and to share that skill with other people. So those would be my gratitudes for this morning.
Yay! I love that. And the song, just for everybody who's curious, was "I Return," and that's by Trusika. I love him. You know, I found him years ago. I don't even know how I found him, but I did. And I love the guy. He's just absolutely awesome, and I love his music. So thank you for recognizing that. Those are great gratitude moments, and I love all of those. So I want to talk a little bit about relationships because I've been single a long time. I also know that, okay, so let's talk about your journey a little bit before you got to where you're at with emotional intelligence. Why? Because I really want people to understand why it's so important and how it can transform a life. So let's go back a few years and let's talk about where you were a few years ago.
All right. You know, really to share the transformational journey, I would go back more than a few years ago. So I'm just going to touch on a couple of little spots in my life to give context to my personality and what has really brought me to love smart cards. So one thing is that my parents divorced when I was 8 years old. I was very deeply attached to my father. He moved across the country. And so one of the driving factors in my life is this longing to have people come back together. When love is lost, how do we repair that love that's lost? So for many years, I was like, Mom, Dad, what happened? And I just wanted to solve the mystery. One of the things I didn't recognize was the way that experience impacted the way I thought about life, the way I thought about myself, the way I thought about men and women and relationship, and set me up in some unconscious patterns. And this is one of the things that you learn inside of this tool set that I teach through Love Smart Cards, is that we pick up these unconscious patterns. We pick up these beliefs that then shape our lives. So from that point forward, I was very good at attracting men who were unavailable, either emotionally or physically not present, because my dad had left and moved to another state. So that had become part of my belief system, not my guidance system. However,
but I love that. Okay, so as the audience is listening, there was a really brilliant distinction she just made, and that was between her belief system versus her guidance system. So I want everybody to just really kind of bite into that for a minute as we move forward. Okay.
Yeah. So that led me to falling in love with a man when I was 18. I thought he was my soulmate. And in some way, I would say absolutely he is. Although at this point, it's so obvious we are very, very incompatible. I fell in love with him, married him. We conceived our son, Jaden. And by the time our son was a year old, our relationship was in dire straits. We went through a very, very painful divorce. That was totally against my belief system, was that my parents had messed up. They'd gotten divorced. That was wrong. And I would never, ever, ever do that. And so when in my early 20s, I became a single mom, totally heartbroken, and having failed at like the one thing I promised myself I would never do. That was an early dark night of the soul for me. It really sent me spinning in the questions of what does it take to really make a relationship work? What does it take to make it thrive? What can I learn from this really painful experience so that it will never, ever, ever happen again? And so that brought me on really a 20-year journey of looking at that question deeply. And the most profound tool, I've got an extensive tool set, but the most profound tool I came across is nonviolent communication.
I gotta love you for that, because that's it. That was it for me too. Like, I stayed single, but wasn't until I actually really discovered these tools and went, wait a minute. At first I was like, who in the world is going to talk this much about one? First I was like, huh? It was so foreign. Did you notice that it to me, it seems like it was a foreign language I was learning versus because I didn't even know what a need was. So that was like, wow.
Right.
Did you experience that too? Like,
absolutely. Absolutely. It's so common for people to not know what needs are, or to think of needs in the way that we usually think about needs in the English language, which is, don't be needy, or, I need a vacation, I need a massage, I need more money. And so that's not needs in the teachings of nonviolent communication. What needs are they're these universal qualities. So Marshall Rosenberg talked about this divine beloved energy. That's what he calls this, whatever this mystery is in the universe, and then it has a guidance system for us. That guidance system comes through our connection to these universal needs, is what they're called. You could also call them longings, values, desires. I like to give some synonymous words to give you a better sense of what they are. So this is the needs cards in the Love Smart card set. And those needs include, this is one of the downloadable sheets that you can get on my website. So you can see that there's needs here like safety, peace, connection, family, understanding, respect, to be seen, heard, understood, appreciated, productivity, efficiency, integrity, trustworthiness. So there's 128 of these qualities, and they are universal. So when I say universal, meet any human being on the planet, and everybody's going to say, yes, I have this need. Vacation's not on there. Money is not on there. Those are considered strategies to meet precious needs. And everything we do, everything we ever do all the time is actually driven by the desire to meet one of these needs. So again, it's our internal guidance system. And one of the goals here is to become conscious of it, because if we're unconscious of it, we will have our unconscious pattern strategies to fulfill our needs. Whereas if we bring consciousness to it, then we become conscious co-creators of our life with this divine beloved energy.
I love this. And I could just start doing like this happy dance all around. You guys, I'm going to show you this one more time. Watch. Look. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't these just absolutely glorious? I've also put the website into the comment section, okay? So you guys can go order these cards because you're going to need to. Okay, so let's go back into the story. So here you are, you're in your 20s, you're a single mom. I fully relate. I got that. And you're on this quest, and you found Marshall Rosenberg's work. This is awesome. So keep going with that. This is awesome.
Sure. So my finding Marshall Rosenberg's work came again through breakdown. I mean, I was really struggling for a number of years. Our son was going back and forth between me and my ex-husband. My ex-husband then moved far away. He moved 2 hours north. And when our son was 3, and when our son was 4, my ex-husband just broke down in tears. He missed our son so much. I know that his connection with our son is unusual in that our son was named after my ex-husband's father, who died when my ex-husband was 8 years old. So my parents separated when I was 8. His father died at age 8.
Wow.
So our soul bond was a trauma bond. Our inner child, the traumatized inner child, that's what really fell in love. That's what brought us together. That's a bit of a side note. But to say, when my son was 4 years old, I allowed my son to be at his dad's house because I recognized how potent the bond was and how poor it was to my ex-husband's heart. And while we were not on good terms, my love for him is forever. And so I was compelled to allow my son to be there, even though that was breaking my own heart. A year extended into 4 years. And there's a lot I could say about that, but it's beside the point of the learning here. What I think is important to share is that there was impact on my relationship with my son in that time. Again, my ex-husband and I were not on good terms. I as much as I wanted to be loving and kind and respectful and thoughtful and considerate and, all of these character strengths that are so important to me, I found myself doing things that were out of alignment with my values, especially having angry outbursts that I didn't know how to calm them. I didn't know where they were coming from. They were such a mystery to me. And through a series of synchronicity, serendipity, a mutual friend of ours, Scott Thomas, was somebody who I met when I was still living in Santa Cruz. He lived in Marin, which is where my ex-husband and son were living. And he became the person who helped me make the move and begin my practice of learning nonviolent communication. the miracles that I saw in the first year of moving to Marin and having facilitated conversations to help work through some of the challenges with my ex-husband were so astounding to me that I knew that this was something that I had to learn.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't, if somebody asked me, what are you feeling? What are you needing? And those are two primary questions that come up in the practice of nonviolent communication. I don't know. I just don't feel good. I don't know what I need. And it seemed like it was a superpower when somebody else could say, are you feeling sad? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling uncertain? Do you have a need for clarity? Do you have a need for support? And do you have a need for connection, with your son and peace with your son? Things like that, that now are very easy for me to figure out, at that time really did, as you say, sounded like a foreign language.
Yeah.
What is this thing of identifying needs and identifying feelings? It's foundational to the NVC teaching and has so much power, and yet was entirely foreign to me. Really seems like a psychic power, not like something everybody can develop.
Well, it's life changing. Okay, so I knew what I was doing wasn't working. That was just hands down. I had ended I had a 13-year relationship go, and I knew that I was the common denominator. Like in every relationship, I've kind of noticed something, Katrina. I seem to be that common denominator.
Yes.
And have you ever had like one of those, it's been a long time since this has happened, but one of those times where everybody has irritated you and everybody is the problem. And I've had those, and I sat back one day and I remember having one of these experiences and going, I'm the common denominator. Something's, ew.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh boy. Now, even then, had you said, well, what is it that you're needing to be like, probably for all of them to shut up, because I wasn't willing to own any of the fact that possibly maybe some of this was coming from me. But one of the things I love about this this communication is this style of communication is accountability, and being able to be vulnerable, but be also accountable for your actions, for your feelings, for understanding. But that's one of my favorite pieces of it, because accountability wasn't something I took. I wanted to blame Tom, Dick, Harry, and Jane.
Right. There really is such a huge piece around accountability and personal responsibility. And so something that I had discovered when you said, oh goodness, I'm the common denominator here. One of the things that I learned really early on that is huge, and I think especially for women, because so many times we're trained to take care of everyone else. We're trained to be the people pleaser, to really watch out for everyone else. And if it doesn't seem everyone's needs can be met, to deny our own in order to make someone else happy. And it's very, very common training. I know that it was huge for me, and it's huge for most women I meet. And unfortunately, what happens is when we're denying our needs, like, it starts to just build. There's our needs are this divine energy. It is our guidance system. If we're denying it, it actually builds up to the point where there will be some level of explosion. So I didn't realize that my anger outbursts were actually because I was denying these really important needs of my own, and that my ability to find ways to manage my anger, to temper it, to not be run over by it, and more importantly, to understand, why is it there? It's serving me. Why is it there? What's the message it's giving me? That was entirely dependent on me recognizing, oh, I have needs too. And I can be just as caring and considerate of somebody else's needs without giving up my own. Huge practice, huge breakthrough. Yes, anger gets transformed when you can really deeply get that principle.
Absolutely. So you're practicing these skill sets, and so you realize, okay, we've got anger now. You're not expressing yourself. You're not. It's a need that you've been shoving down. I I came from I came from a lot of dysfunction, like most of us, and within that dysfunction, there's those codependent skills are what I had to undo. And I thought, personally, I thought that this was the best thing I had done yet. Nonviolent communication actually really seriously turns around the codependent factor. It really does. It changes all of it. Did you notice that?
Absolutely.
Obviously. Yeah, of course you noticed that. It was like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my God. It was eye-opening for me. It's sort of like that book, the book, The Four Agreements with Don Miguel Ruiz, when it gets to that part, it's not personal. It was one of those like,
Yes.
that was like a pinnacle moment that changed my life years
Yes.
and years ago. And then again, it was with these teachings. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's get to the part where okay, so you have in these, so now you're learning to have new relationships, but then the idea of the cards come up for you too.
Right. So as I had shared with you, I had this period of time where I was separate from my son, and I knew the impact on me. I was starting to emotionally and physically, my health was falling apart. And I got a really strong inner guidance that I needed to be with my son, whatever it took, regardless of my ex-husband's lack of support or desire to have me anywhere nearby. I needed to do that. The other option would be to go to court and fight my ex-husband and take our son from him. That's not my value system. So I made the move up to Marin. I had these amazing experiences initially the first year with people sharing nonviolent communication and facilitating these dialogues with my ex-husband. And so you take it to a sense, if him and I got together just to swap our son in 5 minutes, there was raised voices here. Like, we just could not have 5 minutes of peace between us. And in that first year, we had a couple facilitated dialogues that worked so well that he agreed to increase the child support he was giving me and to allow me to have
Katrina,
our son.
You're the internet starting to cut. It's really choppy, so it's coming through grumble. I'm wondering.
I don't know what to do about that. Unfortunately, our power is out at my home right now. So I mean, you let me know if it's not coming through clearly. Then maybe we need to find a way.
Shoot, I can't hear. We can't. It's hard to understand. It's cutting out on you. I'm kind of hoping it. I've done this Starbucks thing, you guys, and God bless her for showing up today and doing that in the first place. Period. Just because that's gorgeous right there. The actions are gorgeous. The commitment level is gorgeous. I mean, all those things are the way to live a really sexy life and have people really want to be near you. Believe me, it's how you show up. I wish we could. I'm kind of hoping that the screen clears a little bit. While we're waiting to see if her screen clears up, I want to tell everybody that's watching right now, Spirituality Gone Wild has a brand new VIP members only. And Robert Kellogg, I do see you. Hello. He is one of our members in the VIP section of spiritualitygonewild.com. And you all can go over there. It's $14. I mean, $14 and you get a slew of great stuff and special interaction from all the hosts during the month. Okay, so it's a fun deal. And good morning, Mr. Prince Fleet Easton. I see you, Fleety. Good morning, Steve Weber. Good morning, Julie. Good morning. Good morning. So I want to show you guys these Love Smart cards. I'm going to mute Katrina just for a minute because. Let me just mute her only because the sound coming through is kind of grumbled. I want to talk to you guys really about these cards since she can't. Since the internet's choppy. This is a heart print guide that I made. And on this heart print guide, you're going to see these words: willingness, love, gratitude, curiosity, vulnerable, compassion, and all of these gorgeous, yummy words. I love these words. But the reason I'm showing them to you is because, look it, all of these, I can't quite, yes, we can see it. Consideration, understanding. I love this. Ease, warmth, and hurt, discouraged. And the way that you use these cards, Katrina, can you actually hear me? I wonder if she can even hear me. Can you actually,
Yes, I can
you
hear.
can hear me? Oh, wow. Is it, it's
Yes.
grumbled, honey. I'm so sorry.
Oh. I don't know what to say.
It's okay. Well, I
Yeah.
want to tell everybody, I'm going to mute you again just because but I want to tell everybody that the Love Smart cards are gorgeous cards because what they're designed to do is to help you identify where you're at emotionally, where you're at with your needs and your longings. And she's holding the cards up. Can everybody see this? Look at this, and they're really done well. I'm a graphic. I've made several decks of cards in my career, and these ones are spectacular. I got to tell you, I wish we could see them completely. What we are going to do is redo this. What we are going to do is redo this interview with Katrina when she's up in Sedona and the electricity went out. So we're going to redo it. But what I will tell you is that if you want to get these cards, the link is right there in the comments of the feed. Okay. She's going to be starting her own show here on Spirituality Gone Wild. This isn't the last time you're going to hear from Katrina, believe me. This is just the beginning of something gorgeous and spectacular. Oh, here we go. There's a bunch of free tools on her website as well. Oh, I love that. She can type. I love that she can type. That's good. These are good things. Let's bring up, I believe we did put, I thought we had her site up here. We don't. Okay. So this is for the VIP membership. And again, right here in the comments, I'm going to bring this up. Lovesmartcards.com, lovesmartcards.com is where that you go to get the Love Smart cards, okay? Be smart about it. Love Smart. I want to hear from Katrina when on our next interview. I want to talk to her about how I'm intrigued by her somewhat new relationship, kind of, but she is married to the nicest person and he is so sweet. I want to, they have literally, it's like the most adorable relationship I've ever seen. It is just ridiculously sweet. And I want to know how she got there with this. So that's what I want to talk to her about when we redo this interview. So you guys, we're going to stop it here where Katrina was talking about the fact that she had just learned to take these tools on, that she was dealing with her ex and rekindling the relationship with her son. And I know that this weekend her son's going to be there with her. So this was a success, obviously. And it's in a book called Ignite Love, which I do believe is on her website as well. I'm excited. I can't wait to have you back, Katrina, and talk about these things. I already know the story, but I also know that people are just going to go nuts. It's such a story of hope and inspiration, especially if you've ever challenged. I've been challenged when my children were young. They're 28 and 32 now, but when they were young and dealing with the whole divorce and the ex thing and the this and the that, and I can promise you guys, I was a good experience to learn from, but I could have done it a whole lot better. And had I had Love Smart cards, it would have been a whole lot better because then it's just been smart, you know. Anyway, I love you all and thank you for being here. We're going to redo this, and happy birthday to one of the most beautiful human beings on the planet, Katrina Vaillencort, who brings such love and light and beauty. You guys need to really watch for her show that's coming. And by the way, she's a glorious freaking dancer. Amazing. And so there's just so much involved in this wonderful being that is Katrina. So Katrina, thanks for being here. And I love I love that she showed up at Starbucks personally. And Billy says, happy birthday. And Fleety says that he wants to have coffee with you when he gets back up to Shasta. I love it. I love it. She can hear us. We just can't hear her too well. All right. Peace out.